Good evening. This is Super Bowl Sunday, and we're getting ready for some real action here in the city of San Antonio and the city of Houston. I have a special guest on with me today. His name is Claude, Mr. Claude Foster. Hopefully, our other guests will come and Mr. Chuck Slaughter, but we'll see. But, anyways, this month is Black History Month, and it brings a lot of thought processes to many people about what is going on in America. Why has it been so difficult for us as Black people to get ahead or to get where we need to go in bulk? I mean, one here, one there, successful, but there are so many of us that try so hard and just can't seem to get around what's happening. So, in my mind, I'm thinking about voting. Now, this is a voting period. It's coming up right now up to March 1st. So, if you are an individual that think it's 18 or over, right, Claude?
18 or older, or 17 and 9.
Okay.
As long as you be 18 by the election day, but yeah, 18 and older.
Okay, so you're 18 and older, you need to get down to the polls and vote. But if you ain't registered by now, you're not going to be able to vote. But man, if you want to change in America, if you want to do better in America, this one thing you're going to have to do to make it better, and that's to register yourself to vote here in your precinct or your county. Our special guest today is Mr. Claude Foster. He's stationed out in Houston, and I want to introduce him if I have and let him have the floor. You have the floor.
Well, thank you, my brother. Happy Black History Month.
Thank you.
Time for reflection.
Is what?
It's time for reflection.
Reflections, that's right.
Yeah, I'm from Alabama. You're from Mississippi.
Yeah.
Alabama, in our Senate, we got 27 Republicans and 8 Democrats. In our House,
you turn your volume up some? It's kind of low.
Is it kind of low?
Yeah, I don't know if it's you, but I know
volume here.
Let me turn that music down too.
It may be the music. Let me turn up the volume. Because my volume's up pretty high. Hold on.
It's already up. Okay.
Let me.
Yeah, I can hear you better now. Go ahead.
Let me try something here. It may have been a little low. Here's that 100. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I say it's time for reflection, my brother.
Okay.
Because can I take it back to history for a minute?
Yeah, man. Let's go back.
Okay. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, right?
Yeah.
Banned all discrimination, right? Supposedly.
All discrimination.
All discrimination.
That's right. All discrimination.
The Voting Rights Act of 1965 restored and protected voting rights, right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm from Selma, the 1965 Voting Rights Act, right?
Yep.
The Fair Housing Act, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of 1968. We can live anywhere we want to live, right?
Yep.
The emergence of the Black Power movement from 1965 to 1975, right?
Yep.
Which basically criticized the leadership that passed those laws, right?
Yep.
And then after that, we got Black elected officials, right? Now I bring you forward. Let's talk about your home state of Mississippi.
Sure, go right ahead.
You got 38% African Americans, right?
Yeah, it's almost a 50-50, yeah. It's close to 50-50.
In 100 years, Black folks have never elected a statewide Black person in office in Mississippi. In 100 years. Because we're at a point now in our history where we can say just having Black elected officials does not produce any real power, because White folks keep declining in population, but they got more representatives in Congress. How can that be if it wasn't for structural racism? How can the
It's
white
gotta be.
population be going down, yet they got more representation?
It's got to be structural racism.
Because they done pigeonhole us into majority black districts.
Now, explain structural racism. What is it? Without, we know the situation, but in a dictionary definition.
Okay, structural racism. Listen to this. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, right?
Hey, wait a minute. Me and Chuck were just
we hold
reading
all
that
these
this
truths,
morning.
right? We
Go ahead.
hold all these truths, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why isn't that so? Because of structural racism.
Mhm.
And the current system that we got
Mhm.
cannot tear it down. In fact, we only got in Alabama. I just read to you in the Senate, right?
Mhm.
There are 27 white Republicans and eight black Democrats, because they know white Democrats in the South no more. In the House, we got 77 white Republicans and 28 black Democrats. In Alabama, you got to pass two budgets, an education budget and a general fund budget.
Mhm.
Out of them budgets come the structure of that state.
Mhm.
Educationally, industrially, every other kind of way is funded by those two budgets.
Mhm.
And black folks don't have a say.
They don't have a say-so in the budget at all.
What say-so do they have in the finished product?
You said you had 28 black people in the House or something, right?
Yeah, but you got 77 Republicans.
So the black can't get a vote in if sideways.
And if they got a vote in, it's meaningless. Same thing in the Senate. You got 27 Republicans, 8 Democrats. You got the same structure in Mississippi.
So let me ask you a question.
That's why I argue, and that's why I keep, and other people have caught on to this. We got to have a black state.
I agree.
With a black governor, black senator, majority black congressional delegation. And through that development of that black state, we can do business with black folks all over the country. We can grow black businesses because the state don't produce nothing. Everything that the state of Alabama gets, it got to get from some kind of supplier. In Texas,
y'all don't have a product?
What I'm saying is, in Texas, that's got more black folks than any other state numerically, black folks only get 2% of state business.
With more people, more blacks than anybody.
With more blacks than anywhere.
But I was fighting that issue a long time ago with the city of San Antonio, because they tell you, the black people with businesses don't have their paperwork in order. So I told them that was bullshit, because I had my paperwork in order and I showed it to them. And then I went to try to get a bid on this Wheatley Court project. I didn't care what it was. It could have been putting in toilets.
Landscaping. I mean, you name it. You
landscaping. But you know what? This guy from the San Antonio Housing Department, I ain't gonna even talk about his little funky ass. He told me, he asked me, he said, what kind of performance history do you have? I said, how am I gonna have performance history when I'm a new black business trying to get some performance history?
Did the first white business have performance history?
Nope. When they got contracts with
structural racism that I'm talking about. This is what's thrown up and put in front of black folks.
Yeah.
It's part of the structure. It's
always some bullshit. No matter what you're trying to do, they put something in front of you.
And there is nothing in terms of the political process in its current configuration that can change that.
Well, Claude, I've been a radical.
I mean, think about it, brother.
What?
I just read off all the bills that have been passed on our behalf. White folks didn't need all them bills. The Constitution is good enough to guarantee everything. We need all that.
Yeah.
We need a housing act. We need a voting act. We need a Accommodation Act. We
Mhm.
don't. Aren't we
It's like
part
the
of the
Civil
same
Rights
country?
Act. It's like the Civil Rights Act of 1964. What did it accomplish?
Aren't we part of the Constitution? Do those words apply to us?
All people are created. All men are created equal, man. That's what
Does that apply
that's
to
what the
us?
Constitution says.
That's what it
When it
says.
says that, that means us too. But believe it or not, when the Constitution said that, we were still slaves.
But it's still the Constitution. It's
We
still
were
relevant.
still slaves.
So
And-
why do
and-
we need? Why do we need all these? See, we've been lulled into a false promise.
So in July 4th, 1776, right? That's when the Constitution was passed. That's why they sit there, everybody's celebrating 4th of July, even us, when we were still slaves when they passed that damn bill. So 1776 to 1785, what was going on? Nothing. We were still slaves.
Yeah.
But when Lincoln sent out the Emancipation Proclamation, and listen to that now, it's an Emancipation Proclamation, not a law. The Emancipation is a formal official making a statement. And what's it for? Emancipation Proclamation. Oh, giving freedom. Proclamation is just somebody talking, telling everybody that this is what it's going to be. But there has never been a solid law saying that we are citizens and free. They've always, and there's 2 or 3 documents out there where they say all men are created equal. And every time I see it, it just pisses me off because it's a goddamn lie. They just put that stuff in there to make it sound good. Everything they've done.
I think the founders knew all men are created equal. I think they knew that we were human, but they owned slaves.
Then why were they trying to tell us we 3/5 if they knew we were all men?
But they also
knew it, but they didn't want to accept it.
They also put in there but they also put in there the right to revoke. They put the following in there: whenever any form of government becomes destructive of those ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it. We never did that.
The people ain't gonna have nothing. The people don't run this country. The government does.
But what I'm saying, we never fought to abolish that unfair law.
But we ain't fought for nothing no more than that stuff Martin Luther King did. I mean, anything that had momentum got killed by the federal government, by the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover. When we had the most momentum,
you think they would have killed us all if we had a revolted en masse? You think they would have killed us all?
They would have tried. I'm telling you, I think they would have tried, and we'd have effed them up too. They wouldn't have got very far. And that's one thing I say right now, Claude. We've sacrificed ourselves to try to make a difference for the coming kids that are coming to age. But they got to do something too. Rather than blaming us for every damn thing, they got to get off their ass and get in there and vote too. They don't even vote. Walking around in house shoes at Walmart talking about, I don't know what that is. I don't even know who my state senator is.
But Brother Bay, do you think, I hear you. I'm from Selma, Alabama. We fought for the right to vote. People in Mississippi fought and died for that right. So, yeah. But this is where we are.
Yeah.
This is where we are. What our politicians we don't have enough representatives to. If white folks are decreasing in number but increasing in political power, there's something about this structure that you and I voting ain't gonna change.
It ain't gonna change it at all. So how do you change it? That's what I say. When people don't vote, this is where we end up, right? Where you're saying
we change it I say we change it by keep getting this conversation going about we need to become a majority in a black state. We're already in the South.
We need our own zone. We don't have anything. Our little communities have been destroyed. We do not have a black community in this country that I know of. Do you know of one?
Nope.
And if it is, it's dilapidated in the hood and dirt roads and shit. Ain't no city with 10,000 people or more got a black community. They don't have it. I don't know what it is, but we have been torn apart, broken down, disassembled, and made to live on our own. And when they isolate us like that, they go in and they take one of us out at a time, and we can't do nothing about it because it would take us an act of Congress to mobilize. We got no mobility. And then you got 300 churches in the city of San Antonio. Say 175 black churches. What do they do together? When have they showed up on the scene when the police did something that they shouldn't have done? Not a damn time. When have they made a statement saying that everybody in my congregation is registered to vote? They ain't never done that. These damn churches piss me off because they're sorry asses. All they want is people money. They don't get out there and make shit happen. They got all the people's attention. Why can't they do something with it? That's why we so effed up right now, because of them damn churches pacifying every damn body. People don't want to do shit, but go to church. Listen to an asshole up there. Tell a damn lie. He putting on a show. It's just entertainment. That's all it is. You go in there and get that entertainment and you shout and clap your hands and tell your neighbor hi and all that shit, and then you go home ready to kill somebody.
Yep.
That's some sad shit. I'm just really upset. And if we really went to the root of the problem, it would be the church, because they have the most attention of any black person in this country. And because they got that attention, why aren't they doing something with it other than taking people money? If you got a congregation, you have a responsibility to make sure you got to be registered to vote to be in my congregation. And your team at that church will get that person registered. Every church should be a register. Every church. They don't do shit. Not a damn thing.
I agree with you. I can't argue with you. I can't argue with you. I can't argue with that.
It's sad, man. But you know,
I just think I done lost the screen here. Has Chuck and our guest come on yet?
No, Chuck didn't come on. That was my wife over there looking at me cross-eyed.
I'm not going to be. I think the church has a large responsibility, but I think where we are now politically, in terms of the structure of America, if we continue with this same structure, nothing's going to, either we get smart and operate within that structure, and that's why I keep suggesting that we need a black state to kind of lay the framework and a model for the rest of the country.
What's step one?
Step one is identifying, people that have more recognition and more prestige than I.
Who is that?
Suggesting this?
Who?
I can't think of his name.
Ain't nobody got more prestige than you or me. We are the ones who are coming together trying to figure out what the hell we need to do.
Well, like I said, I don't see how politically. I know we keep talking about voting, and I keep saying, I'm from the bedrock of the fight for the right to vote, and voting is important, but I don't think voting is the answer anymore. I think that in order for us, I think economics is the answer, and we can't get to voting is not going to get us to the economics.
You ain't going to get to the economics without voting, because if you ain't got nobody, the voting is the money. Whoever wins the vote wins the money. Whoever wins the vote wins the budget. They're the ones making the decision where the money is going. If you don't get in those positions, you cannot make the decision where the money going to go.
But you tell me how one in Alabama, I just go back to Alabama. You tell me how 8 Democratic Senate members and 28 Democrats in the House going to get to the money.
They're not. That's why I say more people got to get in there. And they got to get in there.
And then if in Mississippi and Alabama, they got black folks packed into certain districts, ain't no new numbers to get.
They drawing the lines, ain't they? They're redistricting.
The
They're
structure,
doing everything.
you can have
Keep us
100%
mobilized.
voting, but you still ain't gonna get but one representative the way they got you packed in districts
so
in Mississippi,
let's say
and
the
one
vote is not-
representative.
let's say the
ain't
vote
gonna
is not
change-
the
ain't
vote
gonna
is not
change-
it. We got to do it without voting. So
We got to change the structure. It's structural racism. We got
so
to
to
change.
change, how you gonna change structural racism? What could change structural racism?
By becoming a majority, by changing the majority in one or two states, maybe three. That's 42 million
But
black
before that, but Claude, we have to be able to work together. We can't get two churches to work together.
That's the second problem. You asked me what do we need to do? We need to change the structure in about 3 or 4 states. That's 42 million black folks. Most of the southern states only got 6, 7, 8 million people in them. We got to change. Just like we had the Great Migration to the north, we got to have the Great Migration back to the south. And we got to have, and they got to be some targeted states where there's already a majority, so that we can become the majority in these states, and voting will really matter, and we can get the House and the Senate and start changing some of these structural laws that keep us down, that deny economic opportunity, that fail to educate us. Until we get control of the structure, we ain't changing, the voting ain't changing shit.
Mm-hmm. I just don't see an avenue, a road to gaining the structure. I don't see the highway to get there. That's what I would love to try to figure out.
I just told you, it ain't gonna be overnight. We got to start promoting it, talking about it. Some of us got to take the initiative to do it ourselves and make that move and encourage others and start attending these different organizations. And it's just like any movement, we got to be able to articulate it, sell it, and get buy-in. Just like they tried to do with the when they tried to create a black independent party, which fell through because black folks wanted to be part of the Democratic Party. And they wasn't having none of that.
You're right.
But this is where individual citizens can decide to make the move if they understand what the end result will be. It wasn't, people didn't jump on no buses and move north. They went north individually, as individual families.
Mm-hmm.
They got to make the decision as individuals to come back with an understanding that this is the result we're trying to achieve. I don't care whether it's Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia,
Did you know
North Carolina. It could be 3 or 4 southern states.
Did you know that in the Constitution, the 13th Amendment with 20 sections says that the United States government will relocate Black or African Americans and give them money for a start. It's written in there. I don't know the exact verbiage, but we and Chuck was discussing it today and looking at it. I had it on a screen. So that's something that's really standing out right now. It's already said that they're supposed to give us a state, give us our own territory. And it takes 3 things for us to establish what you're talking about. One is territory. That's the number one thing. How are we going to get that territory? The government's supposed to give it to us. How do we petition to the government to get it? How do we sue the government for them to do it? I mean, I would love to go take over Mississippi and kick all of them out.
It ain't a question of taking it over. It's a question of, do enough people move back there to where their vote will, through a democratic process, will take it over.
Did you look at the percentages?
Right now, they can pack every Black person in one majority district in Mississippi and give you 1 representative. Well, if you multiply that times 10, they can't pack all the Black folks in 1 district. If Black folks move to all parts of that state in large numbers, they can't pack you.
And they do things. They try hard to keep Black people from moving in there. They do all these little bitty things to run Black people out. And that is an issue too. People are afraid of confronting that type of behavior. I mean, people are not going to go up against the law. You tell them that you're going to have to stand your ground, and you don't have, if the cop don't have probable cause, or what's the crime that you commit, you afraid to ask the cop that.
But Brother Bate,
Mhm.
why am I got the reverb?
That's I don't think that's me. No, that's you.
Let me log out and log back in.
No, you're good now.
But I can't see you now.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, log out.
But
We're trying to
I'm not
figure out.
bouncing, but you got to understand. You got to understand what I'm saying, Brother Bate.
Mm.
It ain't. The vote matters only if we got the numbers to elect the kind of representatives that can make the structural changes that we need to make. If we just voting in packed majority minority districts and don't have the representatives to make the changes that we need made, structural changes, what the hell is good as voting?
So basically, this is what I hear, Claude, is that we need to concentrate on a territory, and Black people need to move to this territory and infiltrate that
But don't
entire
say territory, state. We got 50 states.
Well, that's what I mean. Territory can be a state, can be anything.
Right.
We want to move there,
Right.
and all from all over the country and all over the world, move to this particular state, and
It could be
then
we can
we'll
have
have a
choice.
king.
I went to a Black Leadership Summit. It was put on by the Collective, and I brought this up. And it was some folks that live in Iowa that are from Mississippi, and they like that idea. I'm just saying, if we continue to do things the same way we've always done them,
Get the
ain't
same
nothing
result.
going.
It ain't gonna change. You're right.
White folks from 2020 to 2024, white folks went down in population, but yet they got more representation in Congress. How in the hell did that happen?
Empathy.
Yeah, less of the American population, but yet they got more representation.
So who gonna make the move? What group of people gonna make the move? Jim Jones took 500 people over there to Guyana. Why can't we take somebody to Mississippi?
I'm saying,
Why don't a church move themselves to Mississippi with all their congregation?
I mean, it's got to be much broader than that. It's got to be the fraternities and sororities saying move to Mississippi for opportunities. They're not there yet, but you go in there, we can increase those opportunities. It's got to be the churches saying let's locate.
You part of any fraternities?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm part of Alpha Phi Alpha.
Yeah, Alpha Phi Alpha. Have y'all ever met with the Zetas, the Betas, or whatever they call
Yeah, I
it?
mean, we got the I can't even think of the name right now.
The Conclave, what?
No, I can't think of the name. It's
Y'all-
where we all come together.
Y'all
every
have
day.
met, right?
Right.
You met all the fraternities in that arena, right?
Right.
And what are y'all? I mean, I ain't trying to get in your business or nothing, but what do you come out of the meeting with? That's what I wanted to ask.
I don't put it on the alphas now. I mean, you got
No, I ain't putting it on the alphas. I'm just saying that we could do this with the Masons. We could do it with the college fraternities. We can do it with the sororities.
well
I mean,
before we can do anything, there has to be a general understanding of what it is we're trying to do.
Mhm.
I'm not convinced that you're there yet.
Mhm.
That you fully comprehend what I'm saying. What we need to do structurally is structural racism.
Mhm.
The
But
voting-
hey, let me, I'm telling you, I
if you got 100 people,
overstood what you're saying.
if you got 100 people in Mississippi, in Alabama,
Mhm.
and you got one representative for that 100 people, and you increase the number of people that vote to 500 people, you still got one representative.
Mhm. Because of the districting. But you
Because of-
cannot change the districting.
Well, yes, you can.
Until you get people in a position to change it.
Yes, you can. Black folks asked for majority minority districts.
Mhm.
We asked for it, and Republicans gave it to it. Remember, it was Republicans that helped Black folks draw the lines.
Mhm.
A white representative, it wasn't a 1-for-1 swap. There is no comparison between one white Democrat and one black Democrat.
So what do you call redlining?
Redlining, that's in housing. That's
forming a district.
Huh?
That's forming a district. Putting people, the right people, just like you say, structural racism, putting a group of people in a particular area, restricting them to that area, and they cannot find a good representative out of that area. Their vote don't count. But that's structural racism to me, where America deny opportunity to a culture class of people.
Can you add me to the stage?
Do what? Do what now? Say that again.
Can you add me to the stage?
You're already in the stage. I'm looking at you.
But I can't see you though.
Oh, okay. Let me see what I got here. I'll pull you out. All right, I just pull you out and put you back in. What happened?
I don't know. I can hear you and everything, but I can't see you.
I just pulled mine out and put it back in.
I think it's something I don't get.
All right. I said that.
It says I'm backstage.
Log back in, because right now I can see you the way we always see you.
Let me log out and back.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. One of the biggest, I'm going to keep talking, but I'll put you in as soon as you come back.
Okay.
One of the biggest things we've talked about today is structural racism. And we're kind of at an impasse right here where Claude thinks that structural racism is the problem. I think that we got to get more people voting. You back? Are you back, Claude?
Not yet.
Okay.
I can hear you. I got to log out. Something's going on with my computer. Let me log out.
Okay. But that's, and it's okay for us to have a discussion like this, because we need to know both sides of the track. We need to know what's going on with the structural issues, as well as what's going on with the voting issues. Something is not right. And that's our problem that we have to fix. And I don't know how we're going to fix it, but we have to fix it. And that's where we at right now, America. If we do not fix this issue, we're going to get another 50 years of the same thing. Just like Claude said, same thing out, you get the same thing in. You don't change a thing. And and my biggest thing is everything that happens to us in this country is done because they staged it. They set it up. They planned it. Ain't nothing going on with Black people that has not been part of the plan. It's been part of the plan. Everything that's going on right now in every Black family is part of the United States government's plan. Ain't no way 10 million people ain't got no damn money. That's a damn shame. That is a damn shame. If we got that many people struggling to make ends meet, this is a structural problem for one, and for two, we're not in charge of the money that comes out of the city. So out of the city that we live in, they've destroyed our communities, they've destroyed our families, and all this is by design. They messed up our families on purpose. They pulled the man out of the family on purpose. That's what they did. I don't understand it. That's what they did. We got a long way to go, y'all. And I don't know how we're gonna get there with us acting the way we are. We got people with lots of money. We got people with beautiful positions in this country, and they don't give a damn where the people in the middle class and the lower class stand, because they made it already. Why wouldn't that person that's making millions of dollars come back and employ nothing but Black people in their company You see the Chinese do it all the time. They hire nothing but Chinese in their restaurants. You see the Mexicans doing it. You don't see no black people working in no Mexican restaurant. Why are you in there? You don't see black people working nowhere in the service industry that's owned by a foreign country or entity. You don't. What happens when you go to the hotel? These Indians have taken up hotels in the entire country. How the hell every hotel you go to, there's an Indian that owns it? How did that happen? It ain't supposed to happen like that. But it's by design. And they could only do that with the federal government's assistance. Look at what's happening with the migrants that just came over the border. Claude, I see you down here, but I don't see your face on there. I add you, and it doesn't give us anything but your name, just Claude Foster. Can you speak? It says I hear you. No, I don't hear anything right now. We got to do better, folks. All of this stuff that our people have to contend with will have to take another road, because we're headed towards shit that ain't gonna be no turning back. A lot of people gonna get in the crosshairs. You're gonna get your plate broke. It ain't gonna be a good thing. But if we don't stand and say, this is what's bothering us, and this is what you will do, it'll never get done. White people have a bad habit of appeasing us for the moment. In other words, you got a problem at the job, you pissed off about one thing, right? They will appease you on one hand, and they will stick a rod up your ass on the other hand. They're laughing in your face and stabbing you in the back at the same time. You can never trust an organization that does not give fair treatment to all, fair promotion to all. Why would you give a dumbass person $10,000 more than you give the black person who has 90% of the strain, doing 90% of the work, 90% of the people? But yet you pay the other fella, where these two guys started together, you pay the other fella more. I've been in so many situations where I've been up against white folks, and I watch how they maneuver to save the white man from humility and from black people. I went down to Bosnia with another guy, both of us the same rank. I got promoted, and then within 48 hours, they shipped that heifer out of there. They shipped him out because they did not want that white boy working for no black man. And that's exactly what they did. And I was so disappointed that they showed their true colors by shipping him out of there. I was looking forward to working on and being his boss, but they sent him back. But when we left the home assignment, they said, well, we want y'all two to go do this, and when it's over, y'all two come back. So we were supposed to spend like 6 weeks down there, and both of us come back at the same time. But the moment I got promoted, the game changed. And then they did not want to tell me when it was time to go home. I had to fight to get that, and they still didn't get it. So I wrote Thad Cochran, the senator from Mississippi, and he made that shit happen. In a week, I was home. But why did I have to go all the way to the United States Senator's office to get a response from my chain of command? You shouldn't have to do that. But when people want to show you disrespect, you show them that you're not the one to be disrespected. You got to show them. And you don't show them with your fist. You don't show them with violence. You show them with intelligence. Use their system to beat them. Know their system better than they know the system themselves. Because, see, they think they're privileged anyway, so they're not going to learn the system. Learn the rules of whatever job you're working on. And that way, you can manipulate your future. You can make your future be what you want it to be. And if you don't do that, then they gonna make your future what they want it to be. It all started with crack. That was our start. Now I'm going back to say, why in the 1960s we see all the brothers in suits and top hats and shoes and looking very professional, whether they had a job or not. They presented themselves as professional black men. Why did all these black men do that to get to where we are now? How often do you see a black man in a suit? On Sundays? Is that it? We should see black men every single day representing the melanin. Letting people know that this is who we are. But when you see people wearing their trousers down below their ass, what are you doing, young fella? Why are you doing it? But it ain't the young fella's fault. So the kids are not at fault. The parents are at fault. And you walking around with your mother and your father and your pants hanging off your ass, who's wrong in that picture? Not the kid. Them two damn parents that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. That's wrong to let your child present themselves like that. You're not only making yourself look stupid, you're making the entire race look stupid. That's what them black people do. They walk around with their pants hanging off their ass because of you. You're doing that. You're reinforcing the damn racist shit that we have to deal with by acting like that. Stop doing it. What's the point? Now they're working on this Crown Law. They don't want black people to wear dreads. Not dreads, but locks. And the reason that you don't say dreadlocks anymore is because dread is considered a negative term. Locks is the actual thing on your head. So don't call it dreadlocks because that's something the white man put in your head again. Just call it locks. That's all it is, locks. White folk can't handle that shit. They cannot handle your esoteric ways. You should be unapologetically black and proud and doing your thing as a man should. When you went to that job, you went there looking for a job. So that ain't shit. If they don't want you there, get the hell out. Find you a place that's comfortable. And there are places that you can work that's comfortable. But if me, I look for the uncomfortable places because I want to raise hell anyway. So that's kind of what I did my entire career. I worked at in the Army. I mean, I can tell you right now, some of you will understand what I'm about to say. I'm the only person in the military forces that ever received 5 Article 15s and had an opportunity to retire as a senior enlisted person. Very senior enlisted person for that matter. So don't think that everybody is passive in this generation. Some of us fight. I fought for 20 years in the Army to get where I got. I had to fight to get there. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten there, and I would be sitting on the damn block somewhere drinking a Blue Top. Blue Top is something I don't want to tell you about the Blue Top, but cultural people know what the Blue Top is. Left the Army, became the diversity officer for a private company that's having all kind of problems right now with the damn nuts on the doors in the planes. That's why I don't fly, because I watch how they fucked up planes. I will not get on an airplane to go nowhere. And I'm skeptical about damn boats, them damn yachts, or whatever, them cruise ships. I don't know if I want to get on that either. All the shit I see going on in this world, I'm gonna stay right here where I'm supposed to be. There's too much going on. Might go to Russia and get locked up, like that girl did, or whatever. Did she call herself a demon or whatever? Brittany. All right, Claude, I see you now. Let's see if this works.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Oh,
huh?
I'm ready.
All right, I hear you. That's good. I just been talking about a little bit of everything, about how they systematically work through our families and cut us off, and how in the 60s we looked so good, we dressed so well, and now, huh? Go ahead.
I hear what you're saying about that. I just think that you're right. We used to dress so well, we used to look so well, we carried ourselves well. We got more freedom now.
Mm-hmm.
I think in some ways we was trying to prove to society that we were equal.
Yeah.
We don't have to prove that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, what we want now
to prove that we were equal, man.
I think in some, I think it was a matter of, I think our dress, our manners, and all that kind of stuff. I think, because think about what most of us, especially the slave populations, grew up on these large plantations, or grew up on plantations. So we grew up around the white elite, and then even in post-segregation, we worked in white homes. We adopted white styles of living, white styles of dress, white styles of speech. We're just now, I think, freeing ourselves from that. And because out of that came the black middle class, adopted those ways, adopted certain emphasis on, and you look at the Harlem Renaissance and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, from a political standpoint, Brother Bay, until we come up with a new structural program that we can all sign on to, nothing's gonna change. Getting another black representative,
that ain't gonna make nothing.
It's not gonna change the structure. I just told you, there's 27 Republicans in Alabama.
So what do you say about voting?
What I say about voting, I think voting as a franchise is important, because that is what allows citizen participation. But most citizens expect something from their vote. We vote, but then we don't demand nothing.
We just go out and just vote. We don't know that. We don't know what we're gonna get or nothing.
What we do, we help maintain the current structure
by voting without having demands.
By voting, by not having the demands and not having the infrastructure or a system to where we can benefit from whatever structure we vote to support. I mean, the reason
I understand what you're saying.
We just, until we have a piece of this Americana, a piece of it, until we can claim it, nothing's going to change. I mean, what are the chances,
Claude? What are the chances of us getting Mississippi as a black state?
What are the chances of you convincing black folks to move to Mississippi?
Zero.
because they don't understand what we're talking about. So we got to, it's just like freedom.
Mm.
When W.B. Du Bois and all of them used to talk about freedom, they didn't just talk about it amongst themselves. They produced pamphlets and stuff and got it out in the country and got people exposed to it and got people to sign on to it. We gotta have those kind of conversations with those kind. But like I say, it ain't just me. I've heard other people talk about this same thing.
Mm.
And I'm saying that once we get a piece of this country, a state, we're a federation. We don't have any. We don't own any of the federation.
Mm-hmm. What would be your top 3 choices? Mississippi, I know, is your number 1.
Well, Mississippi is 38%. Alabama is 26% already. Mississippi, Alabama, possibly Georgia, and
what
possibly
about Oklahoma?
No, not Oklahoma. Possibly South Carolina. I'm talking about where you got an existing black infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. The majority, you got a big infrastructure.
Right. You already got so people wouldn't be isolated by moving there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you already got 38% of black people in Mississippi. So ain't nobody gonna be isolated if you ask 1 million people to move to Mississippi.
It's 38% of black people in Mississippi, but how many of those people are active or boisterous, or able to say something about the conditions that they live in? One thing I learned about Mississippi, there are 3 types of black people. 3 types now. One, you got the black people that still live on the plantation. They don't call it plantation now, but they live out there with the farm. You got those people. Then the second type of black person you got down there is the person who came from the plantation to the city, the little cities that are out there. That's a different type of person. That person has exposure of both cultures, and they apply both cultures. And then the third type of black person you see is that black person that's lived in the city from birth. They don't know anything about the plantation other than that guy there from the plantation. You can spot them easy because they do things different from you. So,
yeah, but that's not. But that is. See, let me tell you. Like right there in Alabama, I grew up with my parents and everybody and Dr. King and all of them and all of them civil rights leaders in Jackson. All those people came out of the black belt. They came out of the black belt. So I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't matter where they live or whatever. I'm talking about you're asking someone in the black belt. Bennie Thompson district covers almost the length of that state.
Yeah.
They put almost every black in that state in one district. And I'm saying from a structural standpoint, who does that advantage? White folks. It disadvantages black folks. Bennie Thompson is just one of 6 representatives. He can't get nothing done in that state. Black folks, there is no black people ever held statewide office in Mississippi at no level. Same thing in Alabama. The state government controls the structure. Everything that comes from the national office, even the garbage dumps that goes in the black belt counties, the waste sites and stuff, they can't even stop that because they don't control nothing at the state. Every administrative officer in the state of Alabama is some white man that don't give a shit about where black people live.
Yeah.
Same thing in Mississippi. That's the structure of racism I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to say they're racist to put a nuclear waste site right in the middle of a black community that's 95%
or to put black. A homeless shelter in the middle of the black people.
They don't need a hood for that. Now they got a suit and tie.
Or to put a rehab center in the black community.
Well, I don't have a problem with a homeless shelter and stuff like that. What I have a problem with is they're not fairly distributed throughout
the community. They tend to be over special. But see, that's a byproduct of the Fair Housing Act. See, we pass these laws, and they turn around and use them against us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying that our elected representatives,
All right, so
Representative Sewell, her daddy was my coach. She can't stop. You got a big ass nuclear waste site right there in Uniontown, right there in the Black Bear, in her district. She can't stop it.
I know.
It's killing her constituents.
Mm-hmm.
Cancer rates are through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
She can't stop nothing.
We have the cotton gin in our hometown, and it used to leave a cloud of smoke all day.
I'm saying until we change the structure, build our own structure through our political masses.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's going to a structure that was built up to exclude us is not going to voluntarily change.
Mm-hmm. Not gonna let us be a part.
They fiddle around the edges and we got somebody that it's kind of like our black representatives are like our prep. You heard people brag about their preacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my preacher got this. My preacher look like this. My preacher drives this fancy car.
Mm-hmm.
We've adopted that same attitude toward our black politicians because they can't do nothing.
People proud of Benny Thompson. Ain't a lot of people proud of Chokwe down in Mississippi.
I'm not mad at Benny Thompson or Representative Sewell or any other black representative. But what I'm saying is the majority of minority representatives on the Congressional Black Caucus, only about a half of them represent black districts. The rest of them represent majority minority districts, which includes Asians, Hispanics, and others.
Mm-hmm.
Tlaib, she represents John Conyers' district in Detroit. That's a majority black district, but Tlaib represents all those other different groups.
Mm-hmm.
So even the Congressional Black Caucus, when we criticize them for saying I don't just represent black folks, I represent this, and this, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because the white folks set the structure up like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they are powerless.
In the plan.
They are powerless. Because we don't control the election. They can send money to Mississippi, but Mississippi decides how it's spent.
Ask Brett Favre.
Yeah, they can send money to Alabama, but the governor there, she decides where it's spent, who it's spent on, how much, who gets.
You got Chokwe as the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, right? Following in the footsteps of his dad. But then you have the Capitol Police to come in and take over as overseers of his police department. So right. How can the state?
They basically created a separate city in a city that includes that Capitol District and those neighborhoods right around.
Why do you think they did that?
Because they got the power to do it. Because the Mississippi Constitution gives them the authority to do it.
Mm-hmm. So
the Mississippi Supreme Court. Yeah, no, it's about the structure. And who's in charge of it?
Mm-hmm.
Black folks are not in charge of nothing. Them black representatives that are in Mississippi's House and Senate can't stop nothing. Mm-hmm. Oh, they can complain. Oh, they can hold a press conference. They don't have the votes.
They ain't got a vote.
And they'll never have the votes.
That's
until we change the structure, brother. Until we get one of these federated states. The United States is.
Well, you saying this is never going in? That's what you're saying.
Okay, let me put it like this. What year are we in?
We're in the millennial year of.
I just told you, white folks are losing population. But they are gaining political power.
They're gaining power. So it's about power, or is it about structure? Which one is
structure? It? Structure produces the power.
Mm-hmm.
Structure produces the power.
Power produces the structure.
Well,
because if
you can put one after two or two after one. I'm just saying, until we change the structure, we won't have no power.
But you
Because
saying
we're never.
because what if we don't have a method or a mode?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you ever see white representatives in the South and white political leaders in the South ever doing what's in the best interest of black folks?
Hell to that.
If I got to decide where I'm gonna put this garbage dump, in your community or my community, where I'm gonna put it?
We know where it's going.
But if I'm black,
we know that.
But if I'm black, I'm gonna make a more fairer decision. It ain't gonna all be in the
That's
black.
our downfall. We have compassion as a people. We believe in doing the right thing as a people, but they don't. And as long as that's what I say, as long as we are so determined to do it the right way, we ain't never get no damn well. These damn people do everything the wrong way, and they got everything. And every time they need to switch up the rules, they do. They move the goalposts, they switch the rules, they make it for them. So, Claude, go ahead and bring your closing statement to a top, and we're gonna get ready to sign off.
Well, in 1975, black political leaders, black activists, everybody came together in Gary, Indiana, to kind of come up with a new way of doing business, a new structure. The black politicians at the time walked out because they was wedded to the Democratic Party, and they didn't want to be a part of any new structural.
The black people turned it down. They didn't want to do it.
No, the black politicians turned it down. They didn't want to do it, and here we are. That was 1970. That was in the 1970s. Here we are, damn near in 2070, and there's no movement. And so this just like the movement for freedom, that didn't come from no establishment. That came from people that wanted to be free. We gotta want change.
Yeah.
I don't think we done got too comfortable in this materialistic country to want freedom anymore.
And what do they do when they think we're getting too damn aware?
Well, I think they kill the leaders for one. That's why it's got to be a grassroots movement. They can't kill everybody.
Yeah,
that's why we got to start educating. People got to make the decision. Claude Foster, you got to make the decision to move if you're not in one of those states. I got to make the decision to move. Just like the individuals, just like Harriet Tubman said, if I could have freed more if they had known that they could be free.
A lot of them didn't want to go free.
So you're gonna have that today. So what I'm saying is, what we have to do, Brother Bay, we have to continue this conversation. We gotta talk about this conversation in our networks, in our little groups, wherever. Because if we don't change the structure, we will never have equality in this country. And like I say, all you got to do is look at the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that was supposed to make everything all right. The Voting Rights Act of 65 was supposed to make everything all right. The Fair Housing Act was supposed to make everything all right.
Settle down though. Every time they made one of those acts, we settle down.
Right. That's what they're designed to do. But until we change the structure, you got states that are majority Hispanic. Nobody complains about that. You got states that are majority white. Nobody complains about that. How come? Why does having the black state sound so out of place?
Because you can't put 5 black people together in one business in a white man company and they don't think something's going on.
You think an all black legislature or a majority black legislature won't give businesses to black folks? You think a black legislature, a majority black legislature, wouldn't have an education system that more reflects the educational needs of their children?
All the black people to Mississippi, that would be the white man blessing. And it will be because he ain't got to go for one place to get rid of everybody.
Well, but see now, 42 million black people ain't gonna move. We don't need 42 million.
No.
You move a million
to run the state.
No, you need a million black people can move to Mississippi. If some whites will move out, they'll make
They'll leave the state. You think
they'll leave the state because
it's too many farms down there too.
Because the black people that moved in will be black people with means. That means they can move into the suburbs of Jackson. They can move into those white areas of Hattiesburg. They can move into the white areas of Biloxi. So white folks will move on their own. They move a state over.
They can't move into the white areas of Inverness. My little hometown, they can't move over there.
I'm just saying you can't pack 2 million black folks in one district.
Yeah,
that's impossible. And I'm saying that whole scheme of majority black districts has not served us well.
Yeah,
it's packed us.
I really appreciate your opinion. I mean, this has been a fiery conversation, and I love it, man. This is what we got to do: is keep talking about it. And so you're right. We need to talk about it in our circles. So
yeah, talk about it in the circles. I mean, obviously we gonna get pushback and stuff, but that's how it starts.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say before we proceed to close?
No, go ahead, brother, and close there. You know we out there.
Well, I want to first of all say thank you so much to Mr. Clyde Foster for being on the Black News Network.
Can I say this?
Yeah, I kind of looking at that Jubilee back there.
Yeah, it's coming up March 2nd through the 3rd, 2024 in Selma, Alabama. Those of you that can go there and be a part of what has produced the advances that we have in this country, those brave souls that walked across that bridge in 1965. So don't forget that. That's the date.
So if you go across the bridge from the side where they got the little park, you go across the bridge and to the left, there's a row of buildings there with restaurants and everything else in them. You ever go there? Is that a black friendly area?
Yeah. Well, Selma's it's a majority black. It's a majority black town.
When are you leaving to go back to Selma?
Probably that week. Probably either that Friday or Saturday.
I think me and Chuck might consider going too. I'll talk to him and ask him do we want to go, because he wants to go to Mississippi. We can go there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I do is when I come up to San Antonio, we all go together.
Okay. That sounds like we'll have a conference call here in the next couple of days.
But before I jump the gun, let me talk to my wife first. You know, I'm married.
I knew it. That's why I didn't say, well, we were right with you, because I know you got to do that too. Me too. But thank you so much, Mr. Clyde Foster. And don't forget the March 2nd and 3rd, the Jubilee, walking across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. We hope that you all can get there for those 2 dates, the 2nd and 3rd of March in Selma, Alabama. Today's topic has been structural racism, as well as people don't vote. Or do they vote? Whatever they do. Anyways, this is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting the news to you. And it is now time for us to sign off. So thank you so much for joining us. We will be back live on Sunday next week at 3:30. I will see you there, and thank you so much for listening.